Hi, welcome back. I'm Taz Chrisman, and we're going to continue talking about weather, and we're going to start with weather services. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about Aviation Routine Weather Reports, or METARs. All right, Aviation Routine Weather Reports, or METARs, are an international weather reporting code that is used for weather reports and forecasts worldwide. Now, here's a couple pictures of some decoding sheets. You can usually find these anywhere. Actually, it's in your AIM. And pretty much you can just do a Google search and you can find them. Alright, a METAR is an observation of current surface weather reported in a standard international format compiled from current weather gathered from ground stations across the United States. While the METAR code has been adopted worldwide, each country is allowed to make modifications to the code. Normally these differences are minor, but necessary to accommodate local procedures or particular units of measure. The information gathered for the surface observations may be from a person or a weather observer, an automated station, or a combined automated weather station that is updated or enhanced by a weather observer. So an automated station is great, but if there's nobody there actually looking at it to make sure it's giving you the right information, you don't know. You're just assuming that that's accurate. Most of them are pretty accurate. I got a good story from one of my professors when I was back in college. He was talking about when they first started these automated stations, they put them up in Alaska. They do a lot of weather testing and all kinds of stuff in Alaska first. And one of the things they did is they put these automated weather stations out there. And they started getting these random reports from this one station where the pilots would fly in and it'd be completely clear, sun shining, not a cloud in the sky. But this report, the station was reporting that the sky was obscured or the visibility was at a quarter of a mile or just something crazy that was clearly not what was going on. And what they found out was the moisture would adhere to the station because they're made out of metal, so it would adhere to it. The elk and caribou and whatever other animals up there, they'd go up to it and start licking it. And what that would do is that'd just build up more saliva or snot or whatever the animals would do to it, and it would clog up the sensors and wouldn't be reading right. So what they ended up having to do is put a bunch of fences around these things and try to keep them from keeping the animals from getting to it. But in that case, that's a good reason why you have a person to enhance it. So all your big terminal areas, your big airports, with control towers and stuff like that, they're probably going to have an automated station just because it's pretty easy, and then they're just going to be augmented by usually one of the tower controllers, or some of the bigger ones like McCarran here. We actually have a National Weather Service personnel that actually updates the METARs and make sure they're all correct. All right, for aviation purposes, the ceiling is the lowest broken or overcast layer or vertical visibility into obstruction. All right. So as you can look at this picture here, I'm going to zoom in on this and let you guys kind of see it and let me follow along. Get my little laser pointer out here. So what they do is they actually divide the environment up into eighths. So the entire sky is divided up into eighths. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. And what they do is anytime there's a cloud in one of these eighths here, that defines what kind of clouds it is. So if you look over here, sky cover, if it's less than an eighth, it's clear, right? So down here, less than 1,000 feet, there's no clouds in there, so the sky is clear below 1,000 feet. Then you go up here to 1,000 feet, and you got one cloud over in this sector, and you got one cloud over here, so there's 2/8, or it's few, so you'll have few clouds at 1,000 feet. Here again, there's no clouds at 2,000. You go up to 3,000 feet, and you got 1, 2. So there again, you got few clouds at 3,000 feet. Going up to 5,000 feet here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 4/8. So if you got 4/8, you're just going to be scattered. So 3 to 4/8 is going to be scattered. Anything over 4/8, so 5/8 or greater, is going to actually be your ceiling, right? So it's the lowest of a broken or overcast layer. So anything over that 4/8 is broken. So if they'd add another cloud in any of these other sectors, then you would have that 5/8, which would be a broken. All right. Overcast would be if it's completely covered. All right. So there's clouds in all eighths of that section in there. There are two types of METAR reports. You have the routine METAR report, that is transmitted every hour, usually within 10 minutes before the top of the hour. And then you have the SPECI, which is a special report that can be given at any time to update the METAR for rapidly changing weather conditions, aircraft mishaps, or any other critical information. Alright, here's another eye chart. We'll zoom back in here. Alright, so here's the elements of a METAR. You have the 4-letter ICAO identifier. You have the date, time of report, appended with a Z to denote Zulu or UTC time. If there's any kind of modifier for the report, that's going to be in there. Winds are going to be reported as a 5-digit group appended with a KT to denote the use of knots. If the winds are gusty, it is reported with a G followed by the highest reported gust. Visibility is going to be reported in statute miles, runway, visual range. If that's reported, that'll be in there. Any kind of weather phenomena, sky conditions. So there again, like we said, the ceiling is considered the lowest broken or overcast layer, or vertical visibility into an obscuration. Temperature dew point in 2-digit form in a whole degree Celsius. You have your altimeter and then any kind of remarks. Alright, so let's read through this one with us. Alright, so we have a METAR. So it's a routine observation. It's for Austin, Texas. It's on the 30th day at 16:51 Zulu. The winds are 120 at 8 knots. Sky or at 4 statute miles visibility. Light rain and haze. Broken at 1,000 feet. Overcast at 2,300 feet. Temperature is 2.1. Dew point is 1.7. Altimeter is 3005. And you got your remarks. The rain began 25 minutes after the hour. Alright, here's another good chart. I'll just kind of hit on a few of these. There's nothing too pressing about these. Most of these you can kind of understand, and most of this should be a review for you guys anyway. You should have your private or commercial by this point, and should already know most of these, but we'll hit on a few of them. All right, this chart can be found in your Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, which is a great book. It's also in your Aviation Weather Services book. All right, so we'll zoom back in here. I'll kind of talk about some of these type of things. So here's your qualifier over on this section right here. So this always goes with the precipitation over here. All right, so a lot of times what you're going to see, for instance, you might have the minus sign here with thunderstorms and then rain. All right, so what they're actually looking at there is it's actually light rain and thunderstorms, not necessarily light thunderstorms and rain. So that's one of those things that will get you. They try to do that on your written test, and don't fall victim to that if you're still working on your written test, or if the examiner asks you during your practical. All right, there is no such thing as a light thunderstorm. Thunderstorms are bad regardless. Any of these precipitation discriminators goes with this over here. All right, some of the easier ones, obviously drizzle is pretty easy to recognize. DZ, rains, RA, snow, it makes sense. Some of the weird ones though is you got this thing called hail down here, and it's GR. So the way I remember this, it's granite rain. So if it's rain that feels like granite, right, like big rocks that are pounding at you, that would be the hail. So GR is hail. Some of the other ones I kind of like is BR for mist. Right, mist is really fine rain, so I think of it as baby rain. So BR is baby rain. All right, we got a few more here. We're going to go through these, and then I'm going to show you a few places where you can actually get some METARs.